Good day, it is Stephen Davis here. In this video, I want to show you how to teach the child the multiplication from 6 to the number 12. It may vary due to circumstances for grades, but in South Africa at this moment in time, due to the COVID and the changes it brought in, it is for grade 3. I just want to emphasize that the small numbers, if you can't master the small numbers, you won't be able to master later on the bigger numbers, multiplication, or even mental math, or subjects like algebra, geometry, or even calculus. So you must, don't be afraid. If you notice a child doesn't know a thing and I had to do it, go back to another previous thing, and because this is a foundation stage. Second thing that I also said before, drill is extremely important. Of course, a child must understand the basics, but in our current situation, the drills were neglected. Drills are basically cut out, and I believe drills has a place, and I follow that principle here, because your basic mass knowledge that you somehow tap into is like a soldier in a war. You can't think what you must do. You can't think how to operate a gun. You must just know 5 times 5 is 25. You must just know it. You can't go and count on your fingers. The range for this year is numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 12 times 1 to 12. The order in which it is taught, it is, we start at 11 and then I go to 9, 6, 7, 8, and then 12. The order is important because the child understands the numbers, then he has a better grasp of the more difficult number, etc. Strange as it seems, I start with 9 because 9 is very easy. 9 repeats 11, 22, 33, etc. And in order to help the child with confidence, I show him basically calculating 11 times using the VIDA method. There's a lot of things on the internet to do it, and it's a recognized method with 2 or 3 digits. It gives the child a nice confidence. He can do things, because a lot of adults don't know it. And in terms of the number 9, you get 2 ways of doing the number 9 going on your fingers. I did show my child that way, but it becomes a little bit of a problem. The child must every time look at his hand. So I will teach him, and I did teach him. I start slowly to introduce him where he just know, but the 2 digits of the answer adds up to 9. For example, 9, it's 18, so 1 plus 8 is 9, 27, 2 plus 7, etc. And then at the end of each number, it is good to show the child the math facts he knows. It boosts his confidence, and confidence is very important in education in general. Another thing is that I use importance is a multiplication chart. If you do not have a multiplication chart, make one. Ask someone to give it you one. It is very simple to make it on a Excel spreadsheet. The child can see then what's going on, how, because for example, how the skip counting works, how 10 is basically, if you multiply something, it just has a 0 at the end. To take it away, it's a 0. And you can also then use the same multiplication chart as a division chart. The first step is the child must know concrete what's going on. Show him skip counting, count out 7 here, count out 7, and then count it. Literally, maybe he'll use his fingers or maybe write it down, but he must know 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 7 is 21. That is, first see it in terms of the grouping. Don't need to spend too much time on this because you were supposed to have done it before, but if you did not do it before, go back and do the previous numbers, for example 2, 3, and so go back and then do this. Show him and let him reaffirm that multiplication is repeated addition. Let him write out the sum 0 plus 11, because in this instance I make 11 as an example, is 11, then 11 plus 2, and it goes on 22, 22 plus 11. And how many times did you get to that number? 4 times, 5 times, 6 times? Yeah, because multiplication is repeated addition of the same number, where we repeat the same number over and over and add it until you reach your designated number. In step 3 is let the child reaffirm multiplication is repeated addition using the number line. Let him go from 11 plus 11, 22. The reason is a number line is very important later on. And when the child needs to go x-axis, y-axis, calculus, when the child needs whatever it is later on for lengths, etc. I somebody use a measuring tape. I use a measuring tape. Very easy, it's very long. You can go on for 5, how far you ever wants to go on, 5 meters or whatever. So measuring tape is very simple. It's much better than the making a numbering tape. Why must make a number line if you get one in the shop for a relative price? The fourth thing is let the child reaffirm the correctness of the multiplication chart. Let him see, and I just want to show some people doesn't know the multiplication chart. The top is the multiplicent, they call it a wonderful name, but the basic understanding is, for simple terms, is a number of groups, the number of elements, 8 elements in a group, 9 elements in a group, 11 elements, and then the first column is a multiplier column, times 5 groups, 8 groups, times 10 groups, and then these other columns are then the answer columns. Let the child use the multiplication chart, and then let him start with the left hand in the multiplier column here. 1 times 11 is 11. Let him bring down this with the right hand, this finger. 2 times 11 is 22. Let him bring the right hand, see the answer there. The left finger 3 times, move 11 with the right hand is up, 33. So he confirms then the multiplication chart is correct. You can trust it. Now you start drilling in skip counting. Okay, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 60. You drill it in. You drill in the skip counting. You drill in the skip counting until he says it's very, very fast and can say it very fast, forward and backwards. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 60, and at the end, 132, 121, 110, 99, 88. He must be able to say it very, very fast. And when you say it very fast, and fastest, then you go to the next step. The next step is then you drill in the multiplication. You started off with a skip counting, now you go with a multiplication. Multiplication start, 1 times 11 is 11. Let him use his fingers, 2 times 11 is 22. Chime it slowly. Let it just go, flow, and then go that the rhyme, the rhythm, and then faster and faster and very fast and very fast. And then if it's very fast, you know it's in order, then you can go A chronological. So I must start 4 times 11 is 44. 6 times 11 is 66. 8 times 11 is 88. You go random, throw around. 1 times 11 is 11. And then 5 times 11 is 55. Go up and down randomly. If you know this, the 11 multiplication drill, then you go of another thing. Then you can tell the child, especially, I'm talking now about the 11. These other numbers have other tricks, for example, 5, for example, 9, etc. You tell this, okay, the 11 is simple to remember, myself. You do this, of course, maybe before the time, so that you can remember. You may pick it up. This is not strictly speaking a step there after, it's just in between. Remember, can you see there? For 11, it's very easy. 11 times 2 is 22, the 2, you just repeat it 3 times 11. This 3 is just double, 33, etc., etc. And for the larger numbers, you can show him the Vida trick. There's a lot of movies on the Vidatech. We just separate the two, and then, for example, 11 times 11, you just separate the first and the last digit, and then you just add these two, 1 to by 1 is 2. There's a lot of things on the internet about that. Now, if you know that the specific multiplication, for example, in this example 11, then you go back to his previous knowledge, you incorporate previous knowledge. First, do slowly multiplication. 5 times 5 is what? 2 times 4 is what? Ask him, and then you throw in 11, this new knowledge. Go again first, maybe 2 things of his previous thing, throw in his new knowledge of 11 times. First start with 11. Look, the child is small, don't over. There's a lot of time that you have the whole year, don't break his brain. And he's a child, he'll miss the rest. Then you incorporate other functions, for example, plus, minus, divide. Slowly. 5 times 5 is what? 20 divided by 4 is what? Now, 2 times 4 is what? You mix it, you see, multiplication, division, multiplication, plus, minus. But if you slowly incorporate everything so that the child can learn, he can have a broad overview of everything. And then, as a confidence booster, let the child start marking down. He can cross it, he can mark it, what he already knows. Give him another piece of paper that he has separately. Don't use the multiplication table. So for that purpose, you can have 2 multiplication tables. And then you say, but really, I do know a lot. If I know the 1 times 1 table, the 2 times table, the 3 times table, 4 times, I really know a lot. And it gives him confidence. Step 7, I did show the sum before, but I just want to emphasize the fact you crown it with word problems so that the child knows about multiplication, sums, whatever has to do with real life. So you give a word problem somewhere. Whatever word problem you want to make, there's such a lot of word problems, but keep it relevant to his life. You can follow this method throughout for the other numbers that he needs to learn. Thank you very much for watching this video. We love constructive comments and criticism. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe.